I just spent 100 days in Necesse in brutal difficulty, which means the hardest. Which means more damage taken, more raider damage, and more enemy spawn rate. And our settlers can die. And after completing this challenge, I think I need therapy. From dying countless times to finally crafting the most overpowered, broken, and cheesy build I can think of. This is everything that happened during my 100-day journey. So sit back, relax, and grab a snack or two and enjoy the chaos. Upon creating my beautiful character, I started the game off with, of course, deforestation. Like, I've never really done 100 days trend before in any games actually, and I've never even played hardcore Terraria or Minecraft. After crafting some basic equipments, I headed down to the cave to get some more resources. Here we go. Oh god, oh lord. On my first chest, I found some delicious cabbage. And after a while, a bunch of goblins ambushed me. I defeated them off pretty easily, so I went and checked the difficulty if it's on brutal, because it was so easy. Yikes. Reality finally slapped me in the face when I saw that zombie damage. I looted a bunch of gold coins and then got attacked by another horde and a goblin. Oh no. It was pretty hard and I'm pretty scared because they deal a lot of damage, and I tried my best kiting them. I even used the ninja stars, which I never really used before. After defeating the suspicious goblin, they broke apart into 3 more goblins, and I almost died. I had a pretty close call, but I have a health potion on me. Damn bro, they hurt. And after defeating this last zombie archer, I managed to find a mysterious portal. I mined some more stuff and explored a little bit more, and after a while I found another chest. I found this heavy hammer, which will then be my main equipment for now. After a while, I headed back to the base and managed my inventory. I crafted some more forge so I can now smelt my ores, and made more chests so I can organize. By that I mean putting everything I have into one chest. I then headed back to the cave to get some more loot. After a while, I got attacked again by some horde of zombies, and it was hard. Good thing I have this heavy hammer, so I just kited them down pretty easily. Oh shit! It took a while because this heavy hammer, even though it gave me a damage boost, it's still pretty shit. I'm a cheap bastard, so I looted this anvil, which I will use. I found a caveling and he dodged like crazy. Nah, I just suck. I'm also gathering every chest that I see, so we can immediately start making a storage system to sort everything out. After gathering enough materials, I went home and arranged some of my stuff. I also chopped some more logs because I'm planning to build our actual base now. And I crafted a new equipment, especially an iron sword, because I think the hammer is not enough, and graded my pickaxe and axe. Now we are going to make a home base, storage, just the main place for crafting stuff and storing stuff. The central thingy-majig. After finishing our temporary main base, I chopped down some more trees and gathered the saplings in order to make our first forestry zone. After sorting everything out, I finally made myself a copper armor in order to have a little more protection going down, because our main target right now is to create the soldier set, which needs iron armor set, but I'm having a hard time mining because of how squishy I am. Mining in the cave, I encountered a lot more enemies, and I think the copper armor kinda helps. I managed to find some gold ore, which will be helpful for later. I encountered another horde of zombies, but now properly equipped, I had an easier time fighting them. Afterwards, I found a small house of a miner, found a cute dino plushie, and I looted the bed because it's one of the easiest ways of acquiring bed for my settlement. Afterwards, I found a Zephyr charm, which is kinda shit because it negates 4 of my armor. And later on, I looted some more and found another mysterious portal. There was also a notification that the exotic merchant is leaving my base, so I hurried back to chase him. No! Wait, no! No! After that unfortunate event, I just went and explored the surrounding area. While exploring, I randomly found a hunter. I checked to see what he requires in order to recruit him. I was gonna find wool for him, but this happened.
What? What the fuck, Glenn?
Our first death in this playthrough, killed by a random hunter. After respawning, the iron ore I smelted is done, so I created an armor set. Unfortunately, we don't have enough for the boots. After that, I searched for more trinkets that can help us, and I managed to find a fuzzy dice, which is one of the best trinket we can find since we can use it to make an assassin cowl later on. I committed a mass genocide against the cows in order to acquire more food and leather, which we can use for the soldier set. Since the village that the village map revealed is near me, I decided to explore it and of course looted every chest I see. Unfortunately, this happened.
Oh shit!
Misclicking the torch with my pickaxe got me killed. So I went back, looted some more, and a blacksmith visited my settlement, hoping to recruit it. It turns out we don't have enough gold. After committing more mass genocide, I finally managed to get the gold we need and recruited the blacksmith. I assigned it to a temporary bed inside the home base. Using the meat we acquired from making the cow population decline, I cooked up some steak, made a food chest for the settlement, and I explored some more. I stumbled upon a graveyard and killed a few vampires. Looting the graveyard, I managed to find a blood vault, which will be useful for later, since this is one of the best early to mid game spellbook. Returning to the base, a farmer visited the settlement and I recruited him. Since I love farming so much, I immediately went ahead and made a space for it. Please don't judge my barn house. I made it as cozy as possible using my very limited abilities. Afterwards, I made a lucky cape and a regent pendant. Very amazing trinkets for early to mid game. After acquiring more iron, I finally had enough to make the iron boots and had enough leather to make the armor and boots of this soldier set. Unfortunately, I needed some more gold bars, so I came back to the cave. I also stumbled upon the Plains Cave, which contains these crazy rune people, and I tried to fight them, but yeah, hell no. When I have enough materials, I came back to the base, hired the visiting miner, assigned it to a 5-star hotel-like room, and completed the soldier set. And now, our next task is to find, if not the best, but one of the best melee weapon ever in the game. But first, I made the farm because farming is the best, and I expanded the forestry zone. Now, the journey to find the katana. In order to find the katana, we must locate a plain biome. The plain biome can then have a 33.33% chance to spawn a katana. I traveled far, spotted a small plain biome. Unfortunately, no katana spawned. Traveling some more, I spotted another plain biome. I thought I finally found it, but it turns out it was just apples, which is still pretty good. Losing my mind, I thought the head of a bluebird is a katana. I still didn't manage to find any katana and it was getting dark, so I decided to stay at the villager's house. Waking up, I traveled the whole plain biome, but there was no katana. I encountered one thing though, a type of gunslinger versus gunslinger arena, and I managed to loot a sapphire revolver and I played with it a bit. But due to my carelessness, this happened.
Ah!
Our third death. Little did I know, it was a blessing in disguise. I was returning back to the desert in order to retrieve my items, but suddenly,
Yes! Yes! Oh my god. Oh. Yes!
and now it's time. I crafted some leather gloves for more attack speed and I slept through the day planning to spawn and kill the evil's protector. But little did I know, a disaster was about to strike. A raid happened. and I tried to fend them off. Unfortunately, they deal so much damage and I couldn't hack it. I tried to fend them off more, but there was nothing I can do. In desperation, I took out the revolver and did my best to kill them. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful and they got our blacksmith. Trying to cut my losses, I killed off the retreating raiders, but it's too late. They already got my blacksmith. There was no bringing him back. Unable to accept defeat, I spawned the evil's protector in the name of our blacksmith, hoping to redeem him by advancing. Dealing damage and dodging was easy due to our katana. A little more slashes, and with the help of our guide, the evil protector fell. And we have now acquired the force of wind, some more max health, and unfortunately we got a magic foci. I was hoping to get a melee or range one, but fortunately a blacksmith settler visited the settlement and I immediately hired him, acquiring a replacement for our loss. A hope. Wait, I don't have enough gold. So I went down to the cave, got some more coins, and I encountered this bear. I slayed it off pretty easily using the katana.
Oh my god. Her name is Bear now.
We managed to acquire a friend, a little cub, and I named it Berber. Because I'm creative like that. It felt like destiny lead me to this moment. And with Berber along my side, I decided to farm some rune-bound enemies, planning to craft our next set of armor, the runic. Surfacing back to the base, I finally hired the blacksmith replacement and farmed some more evil protection. I finally managed to get a range foci, but it wasn't enough. I spawned another one and I managed to defeat it pretty easily and finally dropped a melee foci. I created a smithy or a forge for our blacksmith, but again, I'm not that creative. With our settlement developed, a new friend, and defeated the evil's protector, we can now move on to the next phase of our 100 days. Moving on, the first thing I did is to improve our settlement. I returned everything on the main base because it's such a hassle. If I want to craft something, I'd go to the blacksmith's house. I added some more paths in order to add more fanciness. Later on, I traveled to the plains biome. Along with Berber, I began farming cloth and runestones in order to make the runic set. They deal a lot of damage, but farming them was easy when I'm using the katana. I also managed to acquire a bone offering, so summoning the runestone chief wouldn't be such a problem later on. I encountered a bunch of new people and I was kinda worried, not gonna lie, but my katana handled it pretty easily. I came back to the base and an exotic merchant visited my settlement. He was selling pretty shit items and I couldn't really afford to lose any more gold, so I ended up buying nothing. Later on, I managed to make the runic helmet and arm. I still lacked the needed runestones in order to make the boots, so I focused on another important thing. I went to the dungeon and in search of the most important set, the mage.
How hard could it be?
Oh, fuck! I grabbed some trinkets and potions and I fought off some enemies too.
Aha. Okay.
I came back and grabbed my items and explored some more. And then, after a while...
Oh! A wizard! Yeah! Yes!
After recruiting the wizard, I decided to stay and explore more. Fuck! I came back again to loot the dungeon and I managed to find pretty good loot. I also grabbed some of the furniture which we can use to decorate the houses of each of our settlers.
What the?
After dying again, I returned back to grab some more furniture because I want to make an amazing building for the mage, since the enchantment's outcome are based on the mage's happiness. I also decided to get the runestone I lack for the boots since the plain biome I'm farming is near the dungeon. I returned to my base and I finally completed the runic set. I stored some of my spare armors in the dresser I found on the dungeon, and you'll see later why I did that. So I started building the mage building for my mage, of course. And please, again, don't judge me. I'm a little bit shit on building things. I made it look like a chapel with a room in the back, and once completed, I assigned my mage into the building, and I managed to make his happiness into 100. Afterwards, I made a whole new demonic set, along with the demonic sword. And luckily enough, there was a villager visiting the settlement, so I hired him and equipped him with the demonic armor. Why, you ask? We just made our first soldier in our army. This was my plan all along. Throughout the whole playthrough, you guys are gonna see how strong our army will get, and they will play a vital role in defeating the fallen wizard. I also upgraded every tool of mine into demonic tools since I have some demonic bars to spare. Later on, I grabbed my Fabrius armor and equipped my blacksmith with it, making our second soldier into our army. Afterwards, I upgraded my alchemy table into void so that we can make more potions. I decided to mass produce some healing potions. I also expanded the farm so we can farm more sunflowers and produce more potions, also to get more wheat for our animals later on. With our preparation done, I assembled my adventure party and we began our journey to slay the Queen Spider. I marched with my army, just like how Napoleon crossed the Alps. Nothing can stop me from completing this challenge. I forgot the food. Guys, I'm sorry. With that, I used another skill of Napoleon, living off the land.
I'm so sorry.
Referring to stealing food from random settlements we encounter and committing some more mass genocides against animals that can drop food. Arriving at the snow biome, I set up a camp for my army so that I can cook food for them. With that done, I managed to feed them and keep them happy. Oh shit! Arriving at the cave, the first thing that I encountered is the spider's nest. I derailed from it because I need to look for more royal eggs as much as I can, just in case I fail in defeating the spider queen.
Yes!
Feeling confident after finding the royal egg, I began making the arena. In the process of doing so, I obtained some crystal shard, which we can use to craft more equipments for our army. And now, let's challenge the spider queen.
Attack it, attack it.
I dodge her attacks pretty easily because I can use my katana to dash through her. Let's go! With the help of my army and my katana, we check Queen Spider off our list. With that, I returned to the settlement and dismissed my army. I went to the guide in order to get our next task, the Void Wizard. In preparation, I made a frost armor set for magic build, and I went to the dungeon to get some more void shards.
What? God damn it.
I farmed up some more Evil's Protector for demonic bars. And on the third one, I had a pretty close call because of my dumbass. But I managed to push through. With that, I made one of the most OP early to mid game spellbook, the Blood Valley. I gave everything to my mage, making our third soldier for our army. Later on, we encounter another raid, and it's the goddamn Mafia this time. I assembled my army and challenged the Mafia. It was a pretty hard battle, but with the help of my army, we managed to stop the raid. I displayed some of the items they dropped in the blacksmith's house since it's pretty shit. And now, I gathered my army and it is now time to challenge the Void Wizard. The Blood Valley works amazingly and my people does a lot of DPS, so getting to the second phase of the Void Wizard is pretty easy.
Oh! Oh! Shit! What?
Unfortunately, I suck at dodging. But fuck it. I gathered my army once more and went back. But this time, I enchanted every equipment I have and I challenged the Void Wizard once more. Attack it! Attack it! Just like earlier, getting through the first phase is easy. On the second phase, I just focused on dodging and relied on my army to do the DPS. I also managed to dodge some of the attacks using the katana dash.
Fuck! Oh, we did it. Oh, we fucking did it.
And with that, I went to the guide to get our next quest, the Runebound Chieftain. Beginning the next phase of our playthrough, I decided to improve the settlement first by expanding the farm, and I cleared off the temporary forestry zone in order to make a space for the barn house. With that being said, I started making the barn house. I plan to make it like the other part of the building is a chicken coop, because I thought the idea is cozy. Afterwards, to make more space for the other barn animals, I decided to fill and remove the water and sand to also make it aesthetically pleasing. I assigned the animal keeper to the barn house and continued removing the water. Afterwards, I bought myself another friend, an ostrich, so that we can travel much faster.
Yes.
Afterwards, I realized that I can now claim the chicken set. I am worthy. I am worthy. I realized the barn house is too small, so I decided to expand it and furnish it. Afterwards, I began working on the other animal pen. I want it to be like a Stardew Valley style where there's an entrance to it and it's big barn door to the right. Then I got lazy on the next animal pen, so I just made it like this. I thought it looks cozy. Afterwards, I decided to make another forestry zone. This one is pretty small, but later on, I'll try to expand it. I gathered my army and went to the plains cave. I started farming some cloth and runestone in order to make better equipments for my army. Later on, I encountered a miner, and this settler will play a big role in gathering ores in the late game. He needed some iron ore, so I went ahead and searched the whole cave for some. Later on, I managed to finally recruit the miner, and now I headed back up to the surface. And I moved over to another plains biome, and this time I will be searching for the altar that we need in order to summon the runebound chieftain. After a while, I managed to find it.
Okay, nice.
And I also found the bear and I killed it. I realized that I killed it in front of Berber, so that's kinda bad. I went back to my settlement for now and made some feeding trough, whatever, and placed it on the barn. And now, I went to the neighboring settlement and I bought one ram and one sheep so they can make love and make meat. And I also bought a rooster and hen. Together, we traveled back to this settlement. I assigned the chicken on the intended chicken coop, like I said earlier, and I assigned the sheeps on the first barn we made. Having an animal keeper, we can assign husbandry zones in order to automate the whole process. Afterwards, I started building a home for my gunsmith and a base for my miner, and the miners to come. The base of the miners will be like a 4-in-1 type of bunker, or whatever you can call it, cause I'm lazy and cheap like that. I furnish it with the furnitures we looted from the dungeon earlier, and I went ahead and made a minecart thingy that looks like it's going to a cave, cause I'm an excellent designer, obviously. I then assigned my miners to their home. Afterwards, I made a ranged runic set and I equipped my gunsmith with it. I also bought an MP5 for him, adding another soldier into our army. I also gave my other soldier a runic set so that he can be more tanky. With that, I gathered some food and potions and assembled my whole army. We marched towards the plains cave and now it is time to challenge the runebound chieftain. Phase 1 is pretty easy since my army can just demolish every enemy spawning. After a while, the runebound chieftain finally joined the fight. Everything was going great until he did the shield attack, which I did not expect, and how much damage it can do. Not giving up, I quickly returned to the plains cave and I started challenging the chieftain again. Little did I know, I messed up and it led to a disaster. I didn't know that my settlers can get walled off out of the arena, so I was stuck there with my mage. Feeling confident, I still continued the fight, but unfortunately, There were so enemies spawning outside and my people didn't have the support they needed. One by one, they fell. Feeling devastated, I was out of focus and I also fell through the hands of the shield again. I came back to the Plains Cave and collected the equipments my people dropped. For the first time, my army had some casualties. Needing to take a break, I decided to just work on the settlement. The house I made for the gunsmith made it to resemble like a sort of firing range thingy, and I thought it looked cool. I needed to prepare more, so I decided to aim for the quartz set. A villager visited our settlement, so I hired him and gave him the equipments previously used by our soldiers. I then headed to the swamp biome to collect enough ivy ores in order to make the pickaxe so that we can mine quartz. I also managed to find a stink flask and a spike fossil for the boss later. Later on, we were raided again, this time by vampires. I died once, but we managed to fend them off pretty quickly. After obtaining enough ivy ores, I managed to make the ivy pickaxe. With that, I headed down to the desert to obtain some quartz. I found a hideout thingy for the stonelings and naturally, I slaughtered them all. With enough quartz, I made myself a quartz glaive. I also improved the equipment of my mage. Then, I went to the other settlement and recruited another guard. I armed my newly recruited soldiers with some new blade and tanky set. But most of them have range armor sets and guns cause I think range soldiers can deal the most damage. I gathered my new and improved army and we marched towards the Plains Cave once more. And now, it's time to challenge the chieftain. My new army managed to beat the first round pretty quick and the chieftain joined the fight. With better equipments, the chieftain's health melted down pretty quickly. Finally, the chieftain went down. I returned to the settlement to get our new quest, to kill the Swamp Guardian. With all honesty to you guys, the Swamp Guardian is one of the hardest boss for me, personally. If you watch my video titled Why You Should Play Necesse, you'd hear me there bitch about this boss. And now, it's on brutal mode. I just wanna cry, to be honest. With that being said, I prepared some more, and I'm planning to have my whole army, or at least most of them, have quartz gear. So I went to the desert and mined up some more quartz. Doing so, I found this desert puzzle thingy where I died so many times, and I just gave up. I also surfaced up in order to collect some cactus so that we can sell it. And it's one of the money farm I love to do, and if you want some more details about it, check out my video. Going back to the village, a farmer visited the settlement and luckily enough, he was selling a bull and a cow. And so I immediately bought them and assigned them to the third barn we made earlier. I still don't have any products or something in order to get coins, so I just sold some spare items and some extra saplings using the trader village, which I also hired earlier during my visit on the desert. I started filling up the water again and filling the ground with sand in order to make some space for our cactus farm. The cactus farm I made is pretty small, so later on this video you'll see that I'll be making a few coins out of it. In preparation for the Swamp Guardian, I made some sharpshooter armor sets and some quartz set to equip my soldiers. I also expanded the settlement so that we will have more room for more buildings. And now, I gathered my army once more, prepared some food again and potions, and we marched towards the swamp biome. I made a decent sized arena using bombs. And now, let's defeat the Swamp Guardian. I died over and over and over again. And on my fourth attempt, I lasted pretty long. Unfortunately, I really suck at handling this boss and I fell once more. But I learned something. If I can last that long, all I need is enough damage to kill the swamp guardian. And so I made a barracks to add more soldiers into our army. Each room will have 2 soldiers in it. I hired more guards and equipped them with the available equipments. In desperation, I even hired an angler, bought him a shorty, and made him a gunner. Surprisingly, this very angler will be with us till the end. I also hired the gunsmith since our gunsmith died earlier. Rest in peace. I mined up some quartz and equipped my army with them. I gathered them once more and marched towards the swamp cave. Fortunately, all I have to do is survive and let my people do the DPS. The Swamp Guardian fell, and with that, I returned to the guide and turned in the quest. Our next target, the Ancient Vulture. Since the next bosses are pretty easy, I decided to just relax for now and manage the settlement. But when the night strikes, new invaders came. Fucking ninjas. I gathered my army and we faced Konoha. It was going well, but unfortunately I cannot sustain their damage. I gathered my army once more and faced the ninjas, but they were retreating, so we just killed what we can. And now, it's time to challenge the Ancient Vulture. It's done. We've defeated it. I don't know what to say. It's very easy. Now to the final boss before Deep Caves, the Pirate Captain. I bought some waystones in order to travel a lot faster. And then I installed one of the waystones near the base of the Pirate Captain, so that my army can just be instantly teleported to the location. With that, I gathered my army and we invaded the pirate base. My army is equipped with quartz, so we managed to clear the pirates easily. We've also dealt a lot of damage, and the pirate captain immediately transformed into its second phase. It was actually a brief fight and a lot easier than I expected. Defeating the pirate captain, we will be given the choice of recruiting him. And of course, I did. I plan to add him to our army. I also rescued the stylist held imprisoned by the captain and recruited her into the settlement. With that, our journey to the deep caves begins. Our first target, the Reaper. Starting our next phase in this playthrough, I decided to make a ship for the pirate we just recruited. Even though I am aiming for going Mary 5 type of ship, it became more like going horny, because it's shaped like a goddamn penis. I tried to fix it just a bit, but I just gave up because it still looked like a goddamn penis. So I just put some floors on it and furnished it. Afterwards, I bought some dynamite for the pirates so we can use it to clear more zones when mining or to use it on the dungeon farm later on, which you will see. So I assigned the pirate on the ship, the Going Horny. I also decided to expand the barracks even further, adding more beds and recruiting more soldiers into it. I also added some more furniture so our soldiers wouldn't begin to strike. So I went down to the deep cave for the first time, and there was already a structure and a blacksmith was tied down to it, and I decided to rescue him, and of course I recruited him. Afterwards, I explored the deep cave for a bit and I found a lot of tungsten ore. Another thing that I found is the cave glow, which is one of the most important plant on the game because it provides us the ability to make better health potions. Afterwards, I explored the cave even further and found a bunch of loot. And most importantly, I found a shadow gate, so summoning the Reaper wouldn't be such a hassle. I surfaced up and I worked on the cave glow, so we can now mass produce some better potions. Afterwards, I decided to make a base for the stylus. I want it to look like a simple boutique with a room in the back, and again, I'm so sorry, I'm not the best at building, and this one's gonna look like a goddamn Minecraft dirt house. Afterwards, I decided to upgrade my alchemy table using the cave glow we got earlier. I also bought a cannon and I equipped my broken pirate with the shadow set and the cannon, adding another soldier to our army. I also equipped another soldier with the ranged shadow set so we can have more ranged gunners in our army. I also sold some of the swords and loot we got from the pirate fight, giving us some few coins. Afterwards, I've experienced how making potions from time to time is such a hassle, so I wanted to make a base for my alchemist and automate the creation of the potions. So the alchemy will have this simple lab slash house, and there will be a small garden dedicated only for sunflower and cave glow, so we can mass produce health potions. Finishing that, I assigned a chest for some flowers like the sunflower and the cave glow, so the villagers can just directly put it here and our alchemists will be able to get it. I also made a chest dedicated for stone, so the villagers will move all the stones here, so the alchemists will be able to make sand that will turn into glass, that will turn into a glass bottle, which we can use for potions. And I've also did my best to try to configure how the workflow here or the logic behind the whole automation, but you can pause the video, and if you think I can do better, please comment down below because I don't have any idea. Feeling confident and preparing some armors, I think I'm ready for the Reaper, so I went down and challenged it. My army is doing a lot of damage, especially the ranged ones, but me personally, who's a melee class at this time, I'm really having a hard time approaching the Reaper and dealing some damage. I've noticed that some of my soldiers' health bar went red, so that means I don't have enough potion to keep on continuing to fight, so I just decided to retreat for now. I went back feeling a bit devastated, so I was thinking about a very drastic change. Since I am not dealing really good damage with melee class, I decided to change my class into range. So I bought a flintlock pistol thinking that would be enough, and I created some bullets, homing ones specifically because I suck at shooting. I also went back to the deep caves picking up some bones and ectoplasm in order to make myself a new shadow range set. I tested my new DPS using the flintlock pistol, but it was pretty shit, so I decided to buy a sniper rifle instead. With that being said, I completed the armor, even enchanted everything, and I have a masterful enchantment on my sniper rifle. And I gathered my army once more, and now let's challenge the Reaper, and this time I'll be sure to kill it. This is actually the first time I used the sniper rifle, and the camera angle for the scope thing is pretty goddamn weird, so I'm having a hard time adjusting, but I am dealing a lot more damage right now because most of the shot I do actually hits compared when I'm melee that I can't approach and actually deal some damage. And after a few more shots, the Reaper finally fell down. So I returned back to the base, and now our next target, the Cryo Queen. I claimed the tungsten ore from the miner and assigned him a task again so we can build some armors for our army. I want to buy a lot more guns, so I sold some of the harvests and seeds we have. Now, in order to mass produce more ores and ingots, I want to recruit another miner, but he needs more copper ore, so I went down quickly and get some. And now we got a new miner for our settlement. I also made some more shadow set, and I hired another villager, and I gave him the set and the flintlock pistol we had earlier, adding another gun soldier to our army. I've also noticed that the automation actually worked, so that's pretty cool. And now I decided to gather my army and challenge the Reaper once more. Why, you ask? Because he drops one of the best ranged weapons in the game, the Death Reaper. So it went pretty great and pretty quick, and the first thing I got is the Reaper Skull, which is also pretty cool, and we will be using that later. And then I farmed him again, went pretty quickly, and finally he dropped it, the Death Reaper. It's a fucking minigun, okay? So I wanted to try out the gun, so I summoned the Death Reaper once more, and it's so satisfying shooting him. Just look at that. Everything was going great until my mage goddamn died. I realized that I don't have any more potions and my settlers will just die, so I just returned back to the base. Luckily enough, a mage visited our settlement and I immediately hired it. And I've also improved the katana, turning it into the reinforced katana. Now, I farmed up some of the Evil's Protector because now I actually want to do like a hybrid class. So we need the balanced foci. After a few more Evil's Protector, I finally got everything I needed. Now we got the balanced foci, we can both use the Death Reaper and Katana at the same time. Now I went down to the dungeon to do one of the best money farm methods, which I've mentioned earlier. Now I know there's better money farm methods over this, like you guys said on the comment section in the previous video, but it's the fastest way to get money, and it doesn't require much setup. So it's actually farming dungeon walls. If you want more details about it, why I do it, you can watch the video, but as you can see here, we're making so much profit by selling the dungeon walls. Afterwards, I enchanted everything and I went down to the deep ice caves. Now using glacial shards and glacial ingots, you can actually make one of the best deep cave face armor for range, the Deep Frost set. It has an animated bow that will follow you and fire projectiles whenever you use a goddamn ranged weapon. I gave one of the gun soldier a cannon so it can deal more damage, and I also gave some of the equipment that we have to the mage. I've also made another glacial set because I have some spares, and I gave it to one of the soldiers. Afterwards, I went down to the thief cave and using the stink flask, I farmed a bunch of enemies in order to get more bones in ectoplasm because I wanted to make more shadow set for them. Having enough, I made more armors for the villagers and I equipped them with the best armors we got. I also made some life elixir in order to expand our health bar. And now, I went down to the ice cave and made an arena using dynamites. Now, it's time to kill the Cryo Queen. Well, now as you can see here, I'm dealing a lot of damage and I'm dodging it pretty well, pretty decent, you know. But the problem is, I actually forgot to separate the potion. I kept on taking some of it out on the adventure party's inventory and drinking it, and then I keep misclicking it, so I was out of focus, and then later on, the Cryo Queen got me. Not giving up, I went back to the deep ice cave and I challenged her once more. And then after a few more hits, the Cryo Queen fell. Unfortunately, we got the Cryo Quake wand, but I actually wanted the glaive thingy because that's the weapon we will be using for the Pest Guardian. Now I went back to the settlement and got another quest. Next on our list, the Cursed Crone. But we were raided again by a bunch of hunters, but it's actually a blessing in disguise because they drop a lot of tungsten bow. Now, some of the soldiers in my army still uses pretty shit ranged weapons, so I equipped them with it. I also gave the Cryo Quake we got to my mage, and the Shadow Beam that the Reaper dropped to are another mage. Now I went down to the Deep Plains cave biome in order to get some Dryad log, because Dryad armor is the next armor I want to make, and it's actually one of the easiest one to mass produce since all you have to do is farm the logs and kill some of the enemies to get some amber. I went back to the settlement and grabbed some of the potions and prepared my army because now we are going to farm the Cryo Queen. Now this is the part I almost gave up. I don't know what happened, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't dodge for shit. And I kept dying and dying and dying and dying all over again. I am getting tilted as hell because we actually really need that ice glaive, that cryo glaive, whatever that is, because it's the weapon we need to use for the Pest Guardian, because the Pest Guardian is a pain in the ass. I was very tilted, so I just went back to the settlement and I just made another forestry zone, and this time it's bigger, and I've also added some Dryad saplings in order to farm the Dryad logs. I've also made myself a Dryad set, but this time it's melee because I just want to be tanky as hell. I've also noticed that my trinkets are pretty shit, so I went on a trinket hunt and I got a precise light belt in order to make the explorer satchel. Now, I went down to the swamp cave biome in order to find the vambrace in order to make the manica, because manica is one of the best trinket you can use in this game. I've encountered a lot of loot, found the stink flask, but we already have one, and I found the swamp stone, which I should have actually used, but I didn't. We also found a slime canister, but it's for summoners, And I started giving up on the cave, so I thought I would find it on the swamp biome itself, so I started exploring it. Doing so, I found an apple sapling and I found this pretty cool structure, which, just pretty cool. I found a friendly witch upon the swamp biome and she's selling a bunch of buff potions, and I bought some of the battle potions. Afterwards, I went underground to the witch lair and I found the evil witch, and of course, I murdered her easily. Doing so, I managed to loot the necrotic flask, the necrotic bow, and of course the necrotic sword. Afterwards, I surfaced up and I found another witch, and she was selling the broom, the best goddamn mount on the game, and of course I bought it. With the broom, I explored the swamp biome first, but later on, I went down to the cave and I finally managed to find the vambrace. With that, I made a manica, increasing our resilience. I also enchanted it for more tanky stats, and I went down to the deep cave biome in order to find the firestone. With that, I made the frost flame and I combined it with the valence foci to make the valence frostfire foci. Now feeling confident, I put up some banner and I gathered my army, and now it's time to defeat the cursed crone. Now the puzzle is tic-tac-toe and I almost messed up because I let go of the tile, but in the end it worked out. With the amazing DPS of my army, a few hits later, we finally managed to defeat the cursed crone. And now, on to our next target, the pain in the ass Warden. I defeated it and I wasn't recording. I forgot to press record, guys. I'm so sorry. But no, I'm gonna do this video justice. We are going to challenge the Pest Warden once more. But first, I tried to farm up the Cairo Queen again in order to get the Cairo Glaive that I badly want. And again, I'm struggling with this boss for unknown reason, probably just because I suck. I died, but fortunately my army also managed to defeat her. So I challenged her once more and it went pretty smoothly this time. And finally, she dropped it, the Cairo Glaive. So with that, time to challenge the Pest Warden once more, and I made sure to record this time. I am so sorry. Also, to do this tragedy a justice, I did not eat the heart which the Pest Warden dropped, so I'm still on the state when I challenged him earlier. With the Cairo Glaive, I managed to melt his health down, and my army also have really great weapons for AoE attacks, so we managed to beat him pretty quickly. Also, take note that my resistance, look at that, it's just tanking every damage that I receive, so that's pretty good. Now, with a few more hits later, we managed to beat one of the piece of shit boss in this game. With that, I returned to the settlement and claimed another quest. Next on our list, Sage and Grit. The second to the last boss. The boss before the Fallen Wizard. Starting off, I was finding some better weapons to equip on the next fights, and I made this blade. I really hate it, and I ended up just giving it to my other guard because I really hate slow weapons. I also enchanted the Venom Slasher we got from the Pest Warden earlier and equipped it to my guard. I also checked to see which equipments or which soldiers still needs improving, because I'm planning to make a lot of either Dryad sets and Ancient Fossil sets. With that, I made my mage some Dryad mage armor and I equipped them with it. I also made the mycelium pickaxe so we can mine some ancient fossil ore. With that, gave out some mission to the miners to mine some ancient ore in order to mass produce the armors. I went to the deep desert caves to get some and I ended up finding a lot of it. I also managed to find the pedestal for the Sage and Grit, so later on we can have the boss battle here. And with that, I returned to finding some more ancient fossil ore. I hired another miner so gathering of ancient fossil ore is faster. Running out of coins, I did the dungeon wall farm trick again. I managed to make a pretty big profit out of it, but I was not satisfied because I know I'm still going to enchant a lot of things. So I did the trick again and I got 30k out of it this time. I smelted the ancient fossil ores we have so far and I made a bunch of sharpshooter sets since majority of the army is composed of ranged soldiers. I also improved the settlement and installed some paths on it so it looks nice. With that, I replaced the armor of every ranged soldier with the sharpshooter set. And we need to make a lot more armor for the other soldiers and I was running out of the worm carapace. Using the stink flask, I gathered my army and we farmed a lot of it in the deep desert cave biome. But while farming, I noticed a notification that there was a raid going on the settlement. So we went back and I gathered my army once more and we faced it. Unfortunately, tragedy is about to strike. We faced the invaders on the west side, but I didn't expect how much damage they do. And unfortunately, I fell and along with me, one of my soldiers bit the dust. I came back and I tried to face them once more, but I died again. And later on, another soldier of mine fell. I realized that they were not on the adventure party, so they were not using the potions in the inventory. Again, I died, but we managed to kill them all. With that, I recruited another guard, equipped him with the previous soldier's equipment, and I looked for another soldier in the settlement and I found a mage, so I made him a summoner. And I found this really cool because you can make a goddamn summoner here in this game as your soldier. That feature is just so badass. I also equipped some of the other soldiers with the better armor we got, and I also replaced some of their equipments, and I made more sharpshooter set, and I lacked the necessary worm carapace that I needed, so I went down to the deep desert cave biome and went ahead and farmed some. Afterwards, I made a lot more sets and I equipped my army with it, and now it is time for the Sage and Grit. Me and my army was doing a pretty good DPS, but unfortunately my brain just cannot process how to goddamn dodge these stupid fucking dragons, so I ended up dying. But with that mistake, I realized something. I could just let my army do the DPS and all I have to do is survive. And with that, Necesse actually have a trinket for that. Goddamn shields. So I made my whole set all about tankiness and I went up and challenged the Sage and Grit once more. But this time, the strategy is, if they attack, I block. That's it. Just don't dodge it. It worked. I mean, I died, but we got the Sage and Grit. This is the cheesiest strategy that I've ever discovered in Necesse, and it's the one that I am going to use against the Fallen Wizard. I actually realized that there's a better shield that blocks 90% of the fucking damage. So I farmed some worm carapace and made it. With that, I enchanted my whole set towards tankiness. I literally didn't have any enchantment that have like plus 4% damage or anything. It's just all about tankiness. I gathered my army and we explored the deep desert temple. I managed to find an antique sword and it has more damage than the current venom slasher I have, so I made it my main weapon. I also found an antique bow and later on I'll be equipping it into one of my ranged swords. Look at this strategy. This is it. This is literally the strategy. Me being a chicken, literally a chicken. I equipped my soldier with the antique sword that we found because it has better damage, and I found another antique bow. With that, we explored the deep desert temple again. And finally, moments later, we finally managed to find the staircase down towards the fallen wizard. With that, I gathered my army, prepared some potions, prepared some food and everything, and I portaled toward the temple once more to challenge the fallen wizard. Now, it's time. The moment that we've been waiting for. The very objective of this video. To kill the fallen wizard. And like I've said before, the strategy is just to block. And look at that. Look how effective this build is. I build up resistance and the next time the wizard attacks, I just block it. Look, I'm not even getting damage. This build is probably so broken and so cheesy. You guys are gonna comment a lot, but I don't care. I'm having fun. My soldiers are doing really great damage towards the wizard, and it didn't take a lot of time to make him fall below 50% health. He started spamming a lot of spells, but again, I just managed to block everything off. I'm also trying my best to free hit with the boomerang we got from the Sage and Grit, and I managed to put up some damage as well. Now, after just a few hits, the fallen wizard fell. With that, we finally completed this challenge. I returned back to the settlement and I immediately went straight ahead to the guide. And after turning in the fallen wizard quest, look what he said. I don't have any quests right now. We've completed the base game. Now, we can move on to the incursions. I want you guys to know that this is actually the first time that I completed the game. The previous world I had, even though I progressed a lot and my quest there is currently the Fallen Wizard, I stopped it for this project. And now, I finally finished the game, and the incursions are the next phase. Even though this challenge is hard, and it was also hard for the editing part because I'm doing this all by myself, and it's a passion project for me, and I do really hope you guys have had such a fun time watching this, and let me know what things can I improve or what things can I do more on this channel, because I really love the feedbacks I had earlier on my previous videos about Necesse, and I'm truly glad that I can share this game and this experience to you guys, because this game is really fucking awesome. This game is truly amazing, because I recommend you guys try this as well. Play the game, I swear. This is one of the best Sandbox game I've ever played. But I wasn't really planning to do incursions on this video, and I might on the future. But if you'd like to see that, hit that like button and comment down below, because I'm still a goddamn college student and thesis is killing my ass. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.